Sunday. We're in our beautiful city of Angers today. We thought we'd come in for a little bit of brunch and then we'll go have church. Come on with us.
We've got an added bonus. It looks like the Christmas market has started. Now, honestly, the Christmas market should be videoed at night, and we may have to come back and get some shots at night. But it's always nice to know that there's places to eat and things to see. This is a very nice brunch, formula brunch. It's very popular in Europe to sit outside, even in the winter, and it was tempting because it's actually a nice day out there, but we decided to sit inside, which means it's a little tight. But we're in. Okay, here's the brunch. Lots of good choices here. You've got. They're going to bring out a bunch of croissants and bread and jam, which is this up here, and then the veggie bar. If you want it, a hot drink, a cold drink, and I think Leslie's going to have the eggs Benedict salmon, and I might try the avocado toast. Very good. And then Leslie's going to have the brioche Purdue, and I'm going to have the poke fruit granola. Lots of good food. Okay, the drinks have come out. Now we realize it's a bit loud in here. That's good. Everybody's having fun, but we got some hot chocolate, chocolat chaud, and juste orange.
Here we go.
Oh, excellent. Oh, yeah. Love it. Yeah, the first course. Isn't this great?
Isn't it cute? They're just so little.
Oh, you just cannot say no to. You can't say no to that. That's awesome stuff right there. Even the bread and the jam. Très bien. The thing you have to know about orange juice in France is it's generally fresh squeezed. I don't know if you can tell just by looking at it, but you can tell by tasting it. That's for sure. All right, Leslie's got her. What is it?
Eggs Benedict.
Eggs Benedict with salmon.
Yep.
That looks good. Lots of Benedict or whatever the sauce is. I had tried the club sandwich. I don't know. It looks good. Let's see what's in there. Oh, 2 pieces of bread.
Bacon.
Well, bacon chicken. Well, we'll give it a go. There's Leslie's French toast. What's it called again? Brioche Purdue. Brioche Purdue. Oh no, there's my granola fruit bouquet. So lots of food on this table. We won't have to eat more than once today. This is maybe one of the best sandwiches I've ever had in my life. The bacon is amazing. The chicken, and then there's egg salad in there. Just really good. The Christmas market is out, but also the Chateau Angers is open for free the first Sunday of every month. So we've never been up on the walls. We're gonna take a quick walk over there before church. We've got about 50 minutes, so we'll walk there, be in there for 10 minutes, and then walk back and then drive over. But here is the vibe of the Christmas market while we're walking. Viking potion. All those LEDs are always so bad, eh? Alright, here we go. I don't think that guy wanted us taking pictures. I didn't quite understand though. Leslie wants to go this way. The LEDs don't look bad in person. They just look bad on the camera. Here we go. We'll have to come back for some night shots. Beautiful. Oh, what do we have here? Those lights look so crazy. Oh, those are good. Cannolis. Not for us, we're full. Okay, here we go to the Chateau. Always nice walking in France. Beautiful buildings. Interesting architecture, especially in the city centers. Walk in front of this guy's car. You know, that direction as well.
We're not gonna make it, right?
We're gonna make it. I'm always a sucker for candlestick holders. Those are cool. Swords too. So you don't need to hang one of those over a fireplace? I think so. Those
I
are the
guess
real
dining
deal?
room.
The dining room, the foyer?
Yeah, but they're incredible.
Those
How
look
big they are.
spendy though, probably, eh?
Yeah.
Is there a price on them?
They're huge. Oh my goodness, I can't even pick it up.
First Sunday of every month is free. This is news to us. Very exciting. And that's great because we'll be able to take students in there. I have always wanted to go up on the walls and looked out like my cousin Jesse did. Whoop. And isn't this great? This would be a great castle if you had a siege. You could have your own gardens up here, grow food, eat it. And then it's nice, isn't it? Inner gate within the castle. The apocalypse tapestries back there. You see the church from here. Here we come.
River.
Cool. Huge area up here. Massive turrets. Looking out over the city of Angers. Yeah, beautiful. Let's look at the gardens. Pretty cool, they got a garden up on the walls.
I didn't know that.
Wow. This is cool. Look at that. Yeah, I'm not generally bothered by heights, but coming out into this little guy. Okay, this is a trigger warning. If you don't like heights, don't look. Wow. Just gonna back up slowly.
Get in.
Leslie's found her little.
My lookout.
Yep, it's good. Feels safer too.
You'd get to see who's coming without being in danger. You got Q&A like horticulture.
Yeah.
Which makes sense if you haven't gardened with them.
This is all up on the. Look at vineyard. This is all up on the walls, by the way. Goodness. It's a nice thing about having a big fortress. Absolutely incredible. It says it's the village of Angers, which I don't know if it was like a plan for how they could build it or if it was a map of the actual village, but absolutely incredible detail. Look at the top, there's your chateau, and then the church in the center. And then just incredible. The most beautiful house in Angers is still under reconstruction, but it's coming out. It used to be gray, now the wood's been treated, I suppose. We kind of like the gray better, but it's still cool. Yet another Christmas market, but we got to get to church. Time to go to church. Hi friends, welcome to the Grand Salon. It is a Story Sunday and I thought it'd be really nice for us just to have a time to sit back and talk about life a little bit. We've been talking about Advent and there's the themes of Advent, and we talked briefly about hope and the joy of Christmas and hope. Today I want to talk a little bit about peace. I had a message from my daughter, Amy, some time ago, and it startled me. And it was a message that I did not know how to answer. And it took me some time to write back because it was complicated. It was a message that was less than 10 words. 10 words. Now, you guys remember Amy. You've seen her. She's been on the video several times helping us work. She just got married. Beautiful pictures are coming up. I know I posted a bunch of video, and I kind of want to post some more pictures just because it was such a beautiful thing. And she's been working in a church for some time. A great church, Summit View West Side in Vancouver, Washington, and a great boss, Kenan, the lead pastor there, and she leads worship. She does the music for the services on the weekend. She directs those, and then also she leads the middle school ministry, and I think they've talked to her about taking on even more responsibilities with the youth ministry. So she's doing great. She's working in church. She wrote me the brief message, and it basically said this. I woke up to it one morning. She goes, "Dad, do you feel that Multnomah betrayed you?" Now, that was an interesting message. If you don't know, Multnomah is the university that we worked at for about 20 years. And as I was thinking about how to try to answer her, there were several things that came to mind. First of all, you have to understand that when a person works in a church or in a Christian kind of ministry job, it's more than just a job. Like you kind of put your whole life into it. It's more like a relationship. I used to train young guys that were going into church work, and I'd tell them, it's not like a job, it's like a relationship. And so when you decide to work somewhere, it's like you're dating. And when you decide to leave, it's like you're breaking up. Like people get hurt because they come to love you. Like if for Amy, for example, she's working in a church and she loves the people she's working with, and they love her and they've been so good to her. And she will work extra hours like all church workers and pastors will. They're on call. Sometimes they're going to get a call in the middle of the night that somebody's died or something terrible's happened. And they answer because it's a relationship. It's not just a clock in, clock out. If you're working at Starbucks, it's great and you might enjoy your coworkers and all of that. But if you decide to move on to another job that is paying better, everybody understands. There's no hard feelings. It's kind of like, well, that's how it works. It's a job. But when you do that in a church, feelings are involved. And so you have to really, really guard your heart. Because anytime you work with people, there's going to be complexities and there's going to be difficulties. And sometimes people have opinions. Even in the video series, I think we offended a few people the other day. It's just something you can do. And so you have to be careful. And so I was thinking about that for Amy. And you always want to be on your guard to protect your heart and your soul and not to become jaded or angry or bitter. And a person can do that because sometimes when something bad happens to you, you think about it and you lie there at night. Have you ever been there? You lie there at night and you just keep thinking about it all night and you get madder and madder at that person and you start thinking about why you're right and they're wrong. And it just keeps getting worse and worse and you get worked up. And man, if you let it, that will eat you. It will eat you from the inside and it will destroy you, those feelings. And so you have to always be on guard against them. And so I didn't want to say anything that would encourage or be a catalyst to those negative feelings in my daughter's life because I love her and I want her to do well. But I also know that it's important to be truthful because feelings are real and it doesn't help for her dad to be pretending things aren't real. And so I wanted to try to figure out how to answer this question. Did I feel that Multnomah had betrayed us? Let me tell you a little bit about the story. Leslie and I had been working in churches for about 15 years and we had loved it. And we were working in a church in Manitoba and I got a call from my friend Steve. And I think I've told some of this story in previous videos, but he basically said, hey, we've got a great youth ministry program. It's growing and growing. And finally, I've got permission to hire a full-time faculty to teach there. Would you consider it? And we didn't really want to make the move to another country or to change positions, but it was a great opportunity. And so I said, okay, we'll fly out and take a look. So sure enough, they flew Leslie and I out to Portland and we took a look at it. And I mean, long story short, we loved it. The people were great. The students were amazing. We watched them in chapel, worshiping and singing and just wonderful spirits. And we were so excited to take the job, even though it was really difficult to leave the church in Steinbach. But in some ways, Multnomah, the university, they took a chance on us. I'm a young 35-year-old guy, wanting to teach youth ministry. They have one of the biggest programs in the country. One of my friends told me that we had about 90 youth men students back then, and he said that was maybe one of the larger ones in the whole country. So it was a great program, and they're taking a chance on a guy who's a little bit untested. I hadn't taught before, though clearly we loved young people and had some experience. And they believed in us, and they hired us, and they moved us all the way to the States, and they actually paid for our visa. Took 3 or 4 years to get a working visa and thousands of dollars. It's hard to get a green card. And so they took a chance on us, and they believed on us, guys like Dr. Wayne Strickland and Dr. Steve Patty. And we loved them, and we worked hard, Leslie and I. And it was a bit weird because in a teaching job, it's hard for Leslie to help out. Unlike when we were in churches, we would do things together. Also, when we're doing this, we do it together. But it was a little harder in a university, but man, we loved the students, and we'd have them over to our homes sometimes, and we'd go on, trips to Europe and mission trips and other types of trips, and we really gave a lot. I think I've talked a little bit about for about 5 or 6 years, we did an event called Spring Thaw, and there was times when we would work 60, 70, 80 hours a week, and again, when you're working with people and when you're trying to make the world a better place, like in a nonprofit, certainly in a church, or in a university, a Christian university like that, you don't really care about the salary. Like I think I've gone on record. We started, working there for about $38,000 a year, which in the States is not a ton. And they gave us promotions over the years as I got my doctorate and things. And so we were up, over 50, into the 50s. I think by the end. And so, they were certainly paying us, but we weren't worried about the hours. Like we worked really hard. And I think probably when you do that, the ones that love you see that and are more sensitive to how you're treated. And I think that's maybe some of the reason for Amy's question. So then we worked there for about 20 years and really poured our hearts into it. Now, as we started to start this program, Multnomah could not have been better to us. I had wonderful leaders. The new leaders, the old leaders were great. The new leaders were great. They allowed us to come over for half a year pretty much and run the program and buy this. And not only did they allow us to come over here and work while we were still full-time getting paid over there, they encouraged us. Like they found us a place to stay in the dorm, and then they found a home for us, on campus, so that we could, because we of course had to sell our house to buy this place. So our friends at the school could not have been more encouraging and more positive to us. Now things turned, not relationally, but with the school. It's a hard time in education, and especially in religious education. Christianity in America, it's not doing real great. Less kids are interested in Christian learning, and so schools like Multnomah and other schools were finding it difficult to get students. And so we had good leaders, and they were trying to find, what can we do? And so they tried different things, like we'll do adult learning, or we'll do online classes, or we'll try sports programs. And they tried like a number of really, I think, good options to try to keep the school afloat. But financially, it was getting more difficult and more difficult to get students and to make the bills. And so honestly, by the start of 2024, by the end of 2023, the school was in a really, really difficult situation. And I think I've gone on record, the leaders are my friends and were my friends. And so, I remember talking to them kind of all the way through, like, what are they going to do? What are we going to do? And by the end, Multnomah really had very few options. And really the only option on the table, because financially, we were in a place where it was getting close to having to shut the doors. And if they shut the doors, all the students are out, and all the staff and faculty are out, and everything. And so we were kind of in a desperate situation. And so I think they played a move that was a very good move. And it was really the only move, and that was a friendly takeover from another school, a good school, from what I'm told, Jessup University in California. And so in a lot of ways, it was a win-win, because the new school had the ability to come in and potentially give Multnomah another shot at kind of righting the ship and getting things corrected. But the school had a lot of assets. The school has a whole campus worth quite a few $1 million. So, everybody wins. The Multnomah gets another chance to try to survive. And then the new school gets all the assets of the old Multnomah. and basically the same mission. Not exactly, every school is a little different, but generally a school that is trying to do kind of the same things. And so really it was a good move, and on paper it was definitely the right thing. Now the downside is, of course, the new school is going to close down a number of programs, including the one that I led. And so 2024 for us was terrible at the start. As the year finished, I remember my friend and calling me into the office the morning they were going to make the announcement and saying, "Hey, we're going to have to let you go." And there's an HR representative there, and I was thinking, wow, I did not see this coming because, and I don't want to sound arrogant, I think I was a good teacher and maybe even one of the better teachers at the school, and so I was a little surprised to lose my job, and to be honest, ashamed. When you get let go, there's definitely a shame involved. Like, I know I was working hard, and I think we were doing a good job. But I remember walking out of that meeting kind of being a little shocked. Like, I was thinking, well, it's definitely the right thing for the school, but man, I did not see that coming because you just don't see it coming, I guess, when you're in that kind of situation. And the first few days walking around campus was tough. Everybody's looking at you and everybody's feeling pity for you. And I remember talking to Leslie and going, man, I feel ashamed. And she's like, why do you feel ashamed? You didn't do anything wrong. You didn't cause the school to go down. And I'm like, that's a good point. But still, it was a little bit difficult. Now, you notice at moments like that, when life throws you a curve, when there's something you didn't expect, that it's almost like there's the little angel and the devil on your shoulders, kind of trying to catch your attention, and the little angel saying, you know what could they do? They had no choice. They're good people. They're trying to do the right thing. It was a good decision. And maybe the devil angel's like, you worked so hard for that school. How can they do this to you? How can they throw you this surprise? Because clearly it was scary for us to lose a salary and to not know what we were going to do with all of our stuff. We had to, of course, we packed really quickly. I think we had a month or two to get out, which was nice, and to load everything up into a container and bring it out here. But the whole thing was deeply frightening and deeply difficult. And what a terrible way to end 20 years. You love all those people and you loved all the good things that happened, and then to kind of slink out the door with your tail between your legs, and with all the HR rules too, they can't really have a farewell or anything. They can't officially announce that you're let go. So you kind of just slink away into the darkness. Of course, I posted on social media. And so, man, so many feelings, you guys. And so when I talked to Amy Cakes, I was very aware that, not only was I having the little angel and the devil having the conversation with me, trying to have a good attitude or bad attitude. A side note, not everybody wins those fights, right? People in your life, maybe even at times yourself. I know at times myself, you listen to the bad, I can't remember which side the bad one was. You listen to the bad little, the devil, the metaphorical devil, telling you oh, this is not your fault and this is unfair and they're treating you wrong. And you've seen it, right? You've seen people that go off the deep end with their anger and their hatred, and they become deeply, deeply bitter. And I didn't want to become that way, because I'd seen even friends go through similar things and go that direction, and they start to gossip and they start to natter and there's trouble. And I didn't want to go that way, and I didn't want to go there for my daughter, but I also wanted to be honest. And so I think what I told her is this. I said, Amy, do I feel betrayed by Multnomah? Yeah, I did. I felt betrayed, but it was the only decision. It was the right decision. They did the right thing. I remember seeing one of my friends in leadership, and they're still friends, by the way. And after they had to make all these announcements, can you imagine? Most of us are not able to get out of ourselves and think about somebody else. But can you imagine what it's like for them? They have to go and let go a third of the faculty, and they're walking around the campus, and everybody's looking at them. And I remember watching my friend. He came into the dining hall and he sat down at a table completely by himself. And then I'm sitting on the other end of the campus, and every kid's coming up to me like, oh, we're gonna miss you, and oh, we love you. And I'm getting all this love and affection. And here's the dude or here's the lady on the other side of the campus that made the decision that had to be made,
to save the campus and to give these students a chance, and yet they come off looking like the bad guy, right? And then you go online and you see like the posts, you see some of the alumni groups and stuff, and their guys are just railing and they're unloading and they're saying all this stuff, and they're like, oh, you guys are evil and you're doing the wrong thing and blah, blah, blah. And I'm sitting there reading these things going, these are good people. The leaders are good people. They are trying to do the right thing, and they are in an incredibly difficult situation. And we wouldn't be able to make better choices, all this judging them. So when I'm answering, I'm saying, yeah, do I feel betrayed? I do feel betrayed, but the leaders made the right decision. It was the only decision they could make. And I'm admitting to you my emotions, but I'm also saying cognitively, it was the right thing. And not only that, guys, what a year. We've had such a good year. We had already told the school that we were going to go half-time and come out here most of the year and then just come back to teach one semester. So we'd already kind of gone on record saying we had one foot out the door. And in a lot of ways, loyalty was holding us to the school, and maybe fear a little bit. But then when we got out here, we've had so many people support, and the students, we were full for this year. We're full for next year. We have applicants for 2026 already. Please don't apply. It's too early. We're not counting anyone yet. Don't apply for 26. But we don't even know how many programs we're going to do in 26 or how many we'll take. But it's been incredible. God has been so good to us. He's been so faithful to us. And, we took this step, and maybe you're sitting at home and you're looking at this beautiful fireplace and you're like, yeah, I'm feeling really bad for you, crying a river for you. Okay, I get that. Fair point. But I'm telling you, it was difficult. It's difficult to be rejected. But I guess my point is this in telling this story. I think it's good to be honest, but I also think that you don't want to listen to that little bad voice. In your own life, when you got people that are, when there's some kind of situation, maybe it's with like a relationship, it could be a relative, it could be a marriage, honestly, a husband, a wife, or a child, or a parent. And you may have very good reasons, to feel mad and to feel angry. I'm not saying they're not real. And you may have been wronged brutally. In my situation, they did the only thing they could. It hurt me, but it's the only thing they could do, really. But in your situation, it might be worse. Maybe they just did something that was, evil and painful for no reason. In some ways, it doesn't matter. First of all, you got to know, look, God can judge. If someone has wronged you, God can judge them for that. You don't need to do it. You don't need to hold this grudge. You don't need to hold on to this bitterness and this anger. We have so much of that in today's world. You see countries fighting and bombing each other, and you see even we're shooting these videos quite a bit early because to get them out, that's how you have to do it. And I was watching football the other day, and you see some of these rivalry week teams fighting in anger, and I'm just kind of like, guys, go hard, play the game, but man, there's no need for hate, and nobody wins with hate. They don't win, you don't win. If you hate and you go for revenge, that doesn't make it better. All that it does is it corrupts your soul. And so you want health, you want peace. And so as I'm sitting here today, I want to tell you guys, even though I did tell Amy that, yeah, I felt betrayed, I feel complete peace about the situation. I find myself praying for the school's success, the new school. I find myself praying for the leaders and hoping that God will bless them and give them a great year and lots of students and good decisions. I pray for all my friends that are colleagues and my former students. Every time a student tells me they're still staying with the school, I'm pleased, and I want them to do well, guys. And you know what? And they want me to do well, and that's the way you want to go through life. Don't just choose not to hate. Now, I had a couple students. We were talking about this stuff in class, right in the room behind, and they say, "Well, how can you forgive? How can you do this when there's so much anger and you just feel things so strongly?" And one girl was saying, "I just can't. I keep saying I want to forgive, but I just keep feeling this anger. What do I do?" And I guess what I told her is, I think so many things in life are a choice. I think love is a choice. I think you choose to love somebody, and then sometimes you feel like it, and sometimes you don't feel like it, like in a husband-wife relationship. But you choose to love them either way, right? If they're having a day when you're being a little snarky to each other, you still love them, and you still choose to love them. And I think it's the same with forgiveness. I think you choose to forgive someone, and you just say it again, I'm a Christian, So for me, everything comes back to talking to God. And so, you know, if I'm talking to God, if I'm praying, I'll be like, God, I want to forgive this person who did this thing to me. And I'm angry about it and it hurt me, but I don't want to be consumed by bitterness and I want to forgive. I want to forgive. Please help me to forgive them in my heart and let you know that I am choosing to forgive them. And you do that and you don't necessarily feel it right away. But the truth is, guys, over the years, you know, sometimes it takes years, sometimes it takes months. Over time, when you choose to forgive someone, you will eventually feel it. The feelings will eventually come in line. And just because you still feel resentment doesn't mean you haven't forgiven someone. You can choose to forgive them and still feel for a while. But then you keep staying on it, you make the right decision, and then you don't become bitter. And isn't that what we need? Like more peace? I mean, and it's available to everybody. Now I'm getting a little preachy here. But I guess it's only for your good here. You can have peace this Christmas. You can. Like, I don't know who it is in your life. Maybe there's somebody you're not going to see or you don't want to see. I'm not saying you have to see everybody. There's people that maybe sometimes you need to cut out of your life a little bit. But you can still forgive them in your heart. Do you know what I'm saying? Even if you don't see them anymore for reasons that are very, very real. But you can have peace this Christmas. And it starts with choosing it. And real talk, I have to talk about Christianity a little bit. You know, being a Christian, like having a relationship with God, reading the Bible, that would help a lot because there's so much good stuff in there on this subject. And so allowing God to get in there and soften your heart it's a beautiful thing. It's an important thing. Even though I've been a Christian a long time, still, I need God sometimes to come in and soften my heart and help me to do the right thing. Okay, guys, thanks for watching Story Sunday. I'm going to try to think of a nice Christmas carol we could play that has peace in it. I think there's quite a few of them. So let's end off with that. But thanks for coming along on Story Sunday.
I heard the bells on Christmas Day. They're all familiar carols play. Oh, mild and sweet, the words repeat of peace on earth, goodwill to men. Then from each black accursed mouth the cannons thundered in the south, and with the sound the carols drowned of peace on earth, goodwill to men. And in despair I bowed my head. There is no peace on earth, I said, for hate is strong and it mocks the song of peace on earth, goodwill to men. Then pealed the bells more loud and deep. God is not dead, nor does he sleep. The wrong shall